All right, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Revival of America. This is Jenny. I am the host and the owner of the Revival of America. Today, we have John Baxter in the house. He is going to be talking about his journey with his anti-aging beds. So, how he came into doing these beds. And we want to welcome John here to the show. How are you, John?
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on today. I'm super excited and looking forward to this amazing chat.
Well, we're excited to have you here, John. And so many people, if you don't know who John is the creator of the anti-aging beds, and he has been on PPN many times. So you may have seen him or recognize his name from over there. He also, my father is going to be going down there to see John and to get in one of his anti-aging beds. And John, I have invited to come on to the show because I know we talk a lot about the med beds. However, this isn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, this isn't the med bed that we have been talking about, the military is going to be in charge of. This is something that John had come into. This is a journey of his, of which you're going to hear how he came into it. And he'll tell you all about it. We will open it up for questions. But John, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about your journey here? Because I think it's absolutely amazing when you and I spoke in depth how you came into this. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is a long story. I've had major things happen, but how I got into this is I was an athlete um, in college and broke my neck on my own move in college sports. So I had a lot of passion, drive, just knowing my health and my body very well. So when I had broken my neck at 20 years old, I had a life-changing situation where I refused the surgery, and I believe it was just meant to happen. My own mother had good insurance and received 3 surgeries she didn't need right before I broke my neck, so there was no way I was going to consider ever getting a surgery. But that was a big move, and I injured my neck at such a level, throbbing. Hands didn't work for about 3 days after the incident, and so my hands wouldn't even squeeze, and I still refused the surgery. This was near the year 2000, and essentially, I had to live a life of what feel like a 90-year-old man at 20 years old. And so my journey that I started in health didn't stop. I met my next mentor. So I spent 20 years in the mattress industry, plus years after this happened, with the intention that not only did it help me, but I could help other people. So I became a lead innovator in the mattress industry after I met my mentor. And this kind of dates the age, but Memory Foam just came out, believe it or not, 25 years ago. And that was amazing technology for me because all I was doing was staring at the ceiling at night. And I had all that pain. So I lived with chronic pain for 15 years. And it was a blessing in disguise. I literally seeked out, searched different doctors to help me in refusing the surgery. I just wasn't going to do it. And through that journey, I became a lead innovator in the mattress industry. And you've heard things like zero gravity position. My mentor sold the first adjustable bed in Florida in 1960. So this was the second generation. This was the owner's son. But they had designed back care and specialty sleep products. So it's different than mattress industry, really. But over the years, I had implemented a lot of technologies that I learned about, including Rife a long time ago. And I actually healed myself in 2014, and that's when I was screaming to the rooftops. Without surgery, I healed myself, and I think my success was due to not having options. So if you're sick and you don't have options, you just live in pain, right? If the pain pills, you get hooked on them, you quit, right? I quit after less than a year. Never went back to that because I knew that was going to be a bad ending at 20 years old. So basically, I put it on myself. and God has protected me every step of the way. I can tell you so many stories, and you would think breaking a neck is a pretty crazy big story and healing it on your own, but I've had the same situation Donald Trump's had with legal system, and essentially, God protects me there too. So massive things that you wouldn't believe happened, but I can't really cover that. But throughout this whole journey, we have 70 technologies today. Bloomberg, whether you like them or not, they did a study on biohacking, anti-aging, biotechnologies, and the most revolutionary health products in the world today, back in 2023. And they chose us after 3 interviews. They chose me and the technology I created as the most advanced health technology in the world. And that's on our website. You can watch the Bloomberg video. And this has led into so many things. We've done goodwill for the community, and in the realm of over 6,000 people, we help for free. So, and a lot of these people can attest to having a no detectable cancer after 3 months prior having stage 4 anything, prostate, you name it. And the only one that's really tough is pancreatic. So be careful with sugar, of course. But this has just led into a huge movement. Like I said, we have 70 technologies. We have a futuristic system of healthcare. And I've been on a lot of podcasts in reference to medbed technology. And because of that, the original kind of people that brought out medbeds, I was so intrigued that, I was on many people's worldwide podcasts in the truther community, in regards to the med bed. One of the things I can tell you is that I've never claimed I've had a military med bed. I'm just a citizen who was able to put this together and help so many thousands of people. That's just an honor. And I'm so grateful that, that type of stuff has happened. But we never quit. We've got such advanced technology today. It's a holographic scan med bed. And basically with this technology, likely it's the most powerful health technology on the planet today. The cool thing about our system is that everything is measured and monitored. There's no pseudoscience in our system. Pseudoscience means it really can't be proven, measured. A lot of times you'll hear people say they have a proprietary offer, which is in frequency, it's not necessary because everything can be measured from the frequencies to the genome of the body, the frequencies that exist in the body. We are a frequency. We're an alchemical process with the chemicals and the foods that we eat, but we're also a bioelectrical system. So the missing part was, that simple understanding that we've been lied to. If you ask someone about ether or frequency in the air, they say it doesn't exist in science. But we're using Wi-Fi's and 5Gs, 4Gs actually too, to use our cell phone. So they discredit any type of ether understanding of energy. So this is just an amazing technology, and I'd love to answer questions in regards to this. And if you want to know a slight background story, um, I did this also hoping for military med beds to come out. I've also done the goodwill, offering this to a lot of people, nationwide, worldwide, actually. And what we've seen is that a lot of the things that we know or don't know, we don't know when med beds are going to come out. And so I took it very personal. I wanted to try to create the future technology as a single citizen and as a team. And we did this. And so right now, I don't think anyone's even at our level. We measure, monitor everything and manage frequencies every step of the way. So we have full accountability. We know what frequencies are being used, but from the last 100 years of frequencies being offered and proven. So all of our frequencies that machines are embedded with the last 100 years of knowledge about frequencies. And, I would like to say that, and that's a pretty bold statement, but we honestly are the leaders in frequency medicine. And because you'll hear a lot of things about frequency, none of them talk about grounding. And one of the things that I can talk about today is that it took 6 years to make our USA made durable, groundable, stretchable fabric. Grounding has been around for 20 years, but the product was recalled over 15 years ago. Because one, it wasn't stretchable. Two, it couldn't be washed. Three, it was made in China. And so they don't really care too much about selling fake grounding technology that lasts 3 months. So I took the hard road, and it took me 6 years to create the first stretchable conductive fabric that's durable. If you can imagine, not only did I have the first FDA cleared mattress, I have two patents, USA approved patents on grounding. And because of that, we embedded far infrared. So our grounding has far infrared and grounding. And the beautiful thing is it shields you from EMF. And it's also an antimicrobial sleep surface because of the silver. So these are some of the things that we have. And, without video, I really can't show you a lot. Maybe I could do video later, but that's kind of in a nutshell, kind of what we created here, and it's just been remarkable.
I did want to ask you real quickly, talk about a little bit of your testimonials that you're getting from your patients, because I think that's huge.
Yeah, so there is a lot of testimonials. I had a lady come in here just last week, and she looked really healthy. She looked really young. So I was like, what could be the problem? But anyways, she found our product in December, and she actually stopped in to as an appointment. And you never know who you meet, right? But she was diagnosed in December of last year with MS, autoimmune, and two or three other chronic issues, sleep apnea, and I believe the other one was she was pre-diabetic. That video is actually just posted last week, and basically she used the technology. She became an advocate, and she's just sharing her knowledge. But she says she's 100%. And when I saw her, I was like, "You look 100%." So I don't understand, the situation. But yeah, she actually slept on the grounding product since December, and that changed her life with all those issues. And since then, she's gotten the scanning technology and a bunch of other things. But you can watch that video. Just a lot of testimonials. We have many locations now across the country, and anywhere from what's not a miracle anymore is cancer. So 30, 60, 90 days, all types of testimonials about getting a no detectable cancer rating. So that is that is huge. We even got a guy that had he had prostate cancer stage 4, and in 2 months using the Tesla med bed, which is a hyperbaric chamber with a couple other technologies, he actually came back with a negative cancer rating. And the doctor oncologist of cancer who did his biopsy said he's never seen a negative on a cancer rating in 30 years. So that's how amazing this technology is. But we're not emergency medicine. So if you're broken a leg, it's not the place to come. If you're on your deathbed, this is not likely the place to start. Basically, if you are not even walking, you can still use this. But pretty much everywhere in between, frequencies are the future. And that's what Albert Einstein said: the future of medicine is frequency medicine. And we give a lot of credit to Nikola Tesla. So back in 2013, that's when I awoke, had my epiphany with, and and got very close to God, spirituality, and it helped me become the person I am today. So um, I was just basically listening, and I've just been following through. And so what you'll see with us is that this is kind of considered not only energy frequency technology, but humanitarian, because Nikola Tesla gave us these frequencies that he found, but these were God created frequencies. They were already here before they existed. Man has just been able to find them, measure, and monitor these frequencies and use these frequencies for the body. But this is the missing information that so many Americans don't understand and don't have access to. And so also we've made frequencies safe. So that's what I was saying. There's a lot of frequency technologies out there, but they probably haven't went through the level of testing and understanding that we have. And that's due to understanding the hardest part of frequency, which is grounding. So grounding is the complementary technology to frequencies, because it's very easy to understand. If I raise your vibration and energy, well, guess what? Wi-Fi is doing the same thing. And last I heard, that Wi-Fi is ionizing radiation. So you got to be very careful when you speak of frequencies, even PEMF and others, because if you've used them, you might understand that frequencies are good, and they are important. But without grounding, you really don't have the whole system of frequencies, because if I add frequencies to the body, right, you have a raised elevation of voltage and inflammation. So the real understanding of frequencies is that it's slightly damaging. It's kind of like working out with weights. Your cells in your arm, if you're doing curls, is going to damage those muscles, and they're going to come back stronger than ever before. So without the grounding, you never discharge from the frequencies. And so that's why I say that I'm the leader, likely in the world of frequency understanding and how it can be used in the application of how frequencies work. So the cool thing is with our technology, we have the discharging and the repair every night on the grounding technology. But we also have this med bed sleep system where we've added frequencies to the bed, and on top of that, you get that complementary understanding of frequency and grounding that a lot of people are hoping for. So when I pushed out the information about the medbed as a citizen, I took a lot of heat, but truth always tells all the truth, or time always tells the truth. And here we are today. Whatever people had said or understood, I took it to heart, and that's why I have the most complete system on the planet. It's like I said, um, from the scanning technology to the scanning correction, from the grounding to frequency. Um, we have over 70 technologies, and not only that, we created these in a sense where you could use them in the comfort of your own home. In the field that I started with the mattress. So, you know, the grounding technology that's used on the mattress was, like I said, very hard to create. If you lay on your mattress, your mattress gives a lot. If you put your knee on your mattress, it's going to sink in roughly 6 to 8 inches deep. So that's why no other grounding technology can do that, because it's stretchable, breathable, washable. And so because of that, I was able to, realize that not only is this conductive, but I could add frequencies to the grounding bed cover. And so that's a little bit of the beauty behind the system. And I know I talk a lot, and I'm sorry, but I would rather take some questions, because I like hard questions, guys. I'm not afraid of any question. No question's a bad question either. And I know that people want to know the truth. And that's really why I got on this podcast as well.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, we're going to open it up for questions. So if you have a question for John, please feel free to raise your hand. Everybody, I will open your mic. And then while we wait, Tracy, are there any questions? I think there are like maybe 3 or 4 on the wall.
There is, Jenny, and this one is from Regina Bryant. She said, are these the med beds we've been hearing about that will heal most diseases and regrow body parts?
Yeah, Regina, that's a great question. When I get that question a lot, and like I said at the beginning, I've never claimed a military med, but I'm a citizen. But the beautiful thing about this is that, I was hoping that they would release military med beds because of my big mouth and the stuff that we had. But we haven't heard anything and no one's seen anything. We hear a lot of amazing stories and we see Photoshop amazing like Star Trek equipment that people are running on. But the reality is, I was on the Truthers podcast that announces to the world. If you cite your sources and you go back, the guy that released the medbed information, his name was Simon Parks. And so I was on the podcast with him, and what I heard was two things: that med beds were an idea that was the citation from his sources is that this came from a psychic and a remote viewer. So, that was the information that I got from sources after many years of being in this. That the leaked information from MedBeds, it came from a remote viewer psychic. That's intel to the truther community, and since that date, you'll hear about these marvelous medical med beds. And a lot of times you see a photo of a brain MRI machine that's stating it's a med bed. But the thing is also on top of all this, due to our accolades and people knowing us, and I can't disclose the location, but I promise you guys a video within a couple months of our technology. And basically it's a secret location within the military, and I will disclose that location with a video. But special forces will have our technology, the top special forces unit in the United States, because the medical doctor of that unit uh, selected another doctor who was likely one of the most prominent doctors in the world, and he was the one who suggested that he put our product in the military. So you'll see our med bed here in the military within a few months. We gifted the military this piece of equipment, but because I did that as a good Samaritan, and it's an expensive piece of technology too. It's over $100,000. We gifted it to the military because what we heard is that everyone at that level is afraid to lose their job, and if they come back with bad vitals in assessing like their level of health for a special forces, they can actually lose their job, lose their income. They're supporting families. So at a different angle, this whole thing, that's how our technology is getting in with the military. And like I said, I will promise you a video with our technology in it within a couple months if you find me on social media, or if we're talking every month on this amazing podcast. I could send you that. But that's all I know about military medbed. And like I said, I was the guy. My book is called The Medbed Story, and you can get that free on my website. But that this is how I got here. Here's the long, arduous way that I was taken to get to this point. So, but that's all I really know about military and med beds. So.
And everybody, I did put his website on the wall. So if you're looking for that, his website is on the wall. Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
And part of that question to John was, will it heal most diseases and regrow body parts? Your machine?
So our machine has been studied by Dr. Francisco, our frequency machines. And he shows in pilot studies that the frequencies offer physical regeneration. And so I've started a whole new category of health with this stuff. So as more information comes down, we will send it But we do have third-party studies on our technology that's on our website, so you can review our studies, our patents, and some of our pilot studies on this amazing technology. But as far as limb regrowth and this type of thing, this is something that I understand, and but the time and money. I'm just a single citizen who used my own funds to create this. But likely, if there's no human bioprinters out there, then there would be no physical like regrowing of limbs. If that makes sense. And that was speculation, I think, when they first said that these things would regrow their limbs as a futuristic technology. Who knows? Regrow limbs 100 years from now, right? Or 500 years from now, right? So the thing is, it would cost them also, like as a single citizen, it would probably cost over $1 billion to have that technology. If the RV happens, please let's work together to make it happen. But I don't think anyone has any of this uh, regrowing limb med beds yet.
All right. So Blue Bonnet Gal, she asked a two-part question, and she says, would your technology be able to help someone better with seizure control? What about help to shrink a small brain tumor? If so, what products would you suggest?
Well, the brain tumor is actually not a difficult one at this point in juncture. We do have the hyperbaric chamber. We think that a hyperbaric chamber is kind of boring because it's a kind of an older technology. So we call it, one of them is we call it med bed. It's like a chamber med bed. It's not just a hyperbaric chamber. It's got all of our technology, 9 different technologies inside while you're doing hyperbaric chamber. It's also got a scanning technology, so we can prove anything at any given moment. From the time you come in to the time you leave, I can dial it into the cell. I can go right into the organ, or I can look at the whole organ, and I can show you the before and after and energy in that organ. So the best way to help with the brain tumors is it's an alchemical process. And a little bit that you should know is that the current medical system, when they say chemotherapy, they actually created a category called chemotherapy. And there's the only chemotherapy that we understand as chemotherapy is what they offer. But all that means is chemical therapy. And chemotherapy could be something as simple as baking soda and water, and that's that high alkalinity that gets the body back to a restorative state. These types of parasites, bacteria, mold, and fungus, they hate baking soda. It's the alkalinity and oxygen that these things hate. So that's why, you could be doing something as far as changing your internal alchemical processes with making your internal body more alkaline. And so with brain tumors, what we're doing is dissolving, and dissolving is a lot like having hard water stains in your bathtub at home, right? Our body, after so many years of ingesting foods that were man-made, as it goes through, there's a residual, effect. And the longer that we don't do anything about it, the worse off we are. Basically, our plumbing's being clogged, right? And so there's different things that you can do to the diet is so important. So you guys have already heard Dr. Otto Warburg's famous quote, in the 1933 Nobel Peace Prize winner, who already figured out cancer, that no cancer or any other disease can live in an alkaline oxygenated environment. So if you're doing that, you're doing like some baking soda to change the pH in the body. All this does is dissolve the tumor. So think of the hard water stain as the tumor, and we're doing things to dissolve it. On top of that is the frequencies. So we understand frequencies at a high level, like I told you. Every single organ, every single cell, every different type of bacteria, micro um, microbial situation in the body has a specific frequency. And because of that, it's almost like a signature, like a fingerprint. So we know that our fingerprint is unique to us and unique to us only. There's no other fingerprint like that. So think about that. Every little piece of the body has a specific frequency that makes it unique. And so, in that way, the way that this frequency technology works, if you match the resonant frequency of the bacteria micro parasite, it dissolves it slowly and painfully for the parasite. So they hate it. They hate light. Everything that's nasty in this world hates light. It hates oxygen. It hates alkalinity. So we give a dose of this type of strategy to the system, and because of that, these types of things dissolve. I think a lot of people would agree for brain injury or brain health. The number one thing you can do is remove sugar from the diet and also add that oxygen. Right. So what would I recommend? You had another question at the beginning of the tumor question, and I think I can round out this question with a kind of a good way. But I would say your other question prior to that was another issue. What was it?
It was seizures.
Seizures, right. So a good one with seizures is just grounding. And if there's anything I can recommend, we do free appointments here, but we give free appointments to people that have turned the corner and are already grounding. So the main thing with that is you're changing your frequency by grounding. So if someone has seizures, bioelectrically, they might be running at a high voltage. Mainly, they haven't been grounded, and the Wi-Fi's and the TV kind of distort the view that they see, and distort the DNA as well. So if you got man-made ingredients in your food, there's an excessive amount of sugar, and you're living in a high voltage situation, you never know what could occur. And we've have a lot of testimonials, kids and adults alike, that had seizures. That grounding had a remarkable play in their overall health. And so sleep is another thing that doesn't get addressed. So if you're relaxed at the level of going to bed and you're getting quality sleep every night, not just sleep quantity, but sleep quality, and real sleep is where the body regenerates the best. So the two things I would recommend for those two situations is one, sleeping grounded is a big thing. It's affordable. You use it every day. People buy supplements $100 a month. This is less than that, and it works a lot better, and it's proven. Above and beyond that, the other things with the tumors I could recommend is a regen frequency device or a bioscanner. It's a little bit more expensive, but the regen frequency device is affordable way to get the frequencies in the body to help dissolve the tumors by matching their resident energy. And so that might be a confusing statement, but let me explain it here. So an opera singer can shatter a glass, right? She does that by matching the resonant frequency coming from the glass, and that's what shatters it. This is what's happening when different types of parasites and tumors are being dissolved. We talked about dissolved earlier, so a lot of people say shatter. If it's glass, it shatters, but if it's biology, it really starts to dissolve it. So those are the couple of the products I'd recommend, and we have people with those issues that we work with every day.
Do you want me to still go on, Jenny? I've got like 3 more in the back, so it's up to you.
Yeah, let me call on these two here real quickly. That is
Okay.
their mics. Azalea Mama, go ahead and ask John your question.
Yes. I want to extend the question that was asked just previously, which actually happens to be a friend of mine. And I had called the office actually and spoke to Dale, but my friend encouraged me to call you and talk to you directly because of the scenario that we have, which is my son has a genetic disorder. And because
Okay.
of this genetic disorder, he has these brain tumors and seizures, and he has many other issues as well. So I'm curious. I feel like, with all the things that you've mentioned, that there is obviously something that you have that can benefit him, but our doctors are wanting to put him on a chemotherapy, which do not want to put him on if I don't have to. And of course, looking out for other alternatives that might help him. But because it's genetic related, I didn't know if, any or your products, would help because of the genetic connection, the DNA connection.
Yeah, I would say like the genetic, really, when you're talking genetics, a lot of times what we see is that with it, you're stating it's genetic, and I understand what you're saying here, but also, that also means you may be weak to certain things. So in the genes, like for an Asian or Black person, wheat is really bad for the body. It inflames the body. But, from someone from Italy, which is not on the same wheat, it's a different story. So when you say genetic, what I'm feeling or seeing or from experience and, talking to a lot of people that would likely say something similar, but we just have to go back to um, the body, bringing the body back to purity. And that means removing any man-made substances or issues from the body. And even when someone says that they're gluten-free, I always ask them, well, how long did you do it? Well, I did it for a couple of weeks. It didn't work. And I was always like, it takes over 30 days for gluten to get out of the body. So you're not speaking correctly when you say that it's not working. So the thing is that every little thing, what feeds cancer mainly is sugar. So I would say removing every instance of sugar out of the body. And if you're only doing it for only sometimes, that's not good enough. That's the gasoline on the fire. The sugar is the food for the parasites. So you got to be very careful with anything man-made. And I'm sure you guys went to that level, Zelia. So, there is a side of this where um, you said you had come in. Really, what we need to do is dial in with our Tesla plasma machine. It's the wellness center version. That means it's the highest end version that we have, and we do have more of a consumer bedroom type of frequency technologies that are a little bit more affordable. But the thing is with the issues that he has, the diet needs to be written out and strategized, um, bringing the body back to alkalinity and purity. And we don't know what else has happened. If a tetanus shot could really throw the body off. There could be underlying bacteria stacking. When we got the COVID shots, and like even as far back as one of those tetanus shots, they were introducing uh, strains of bacteria in our body. So if you can think about every time they've given us a booster or this, what they're doing is they're adding more bacteria loads. So literally, a lot of people that we see with the scanner, we're seeing 15 different bacteria strains in their system. Some are in good shape and some are out of control, but the current system can't address those issues, mainly because they don't have a scanning technology that can tell anyone that they have them. They've actually removed the ability to even see what might be some other issues because the current system's blood testing and this type of biopsy, it's kind of like their system is kind of like understanding like a drug test. If the drug test is not seeking out that specific drug, it's not going to populate on your system. And what you're going to be told is that you need to buy this prescription medicine, this prescription medicine, this prescription medicine. And that's the system that we're in. So what I'm trying to do is break free of this with people with stage 4 tumors in the brain. The best thing you can do is, like, one of them is getting enough oxygen in the body, picking more hydrogenated waters. Hydrogen water breaks the blood-brain barrier and the gut-brain barrier, because you actually have hydration in those areas. You need hydration to be able to dissolve. Like I said, dissolving is so important. If you don't have good hydration in your brain or your gut, don't think that it's going to come back to where it's supposed to be if it's dehydrated. So being hydrated, but not in the sense of just drinking water, but putting products that actually absorb in the cell, right? Standard drinking water doesn't really absorb in the body, in your cells, and it just kind of passes through. But when you have hydrating waters, you might want to add a little salt, sea salt or pink salt or Celtic salt to every drink. You might want to add a little honey and dissolve it in water, because these things help you hydrate. So the first line for the brain is getting the blood-brain barrier back, cells hydrated, dissolving it with like substances like chemotherapy, baking soda with water as your chemotherapy to bring the alkalinity back, using the hyperbaric, the oxygenation, H2O, hydrogen and oxygen, right? These are missing components in basic fundamental needs of the body. So hydrogen water would be good with the hyperbaric chamber. Wow, that's just amazing. And then when it basically, as oxygen, the energy pushes through your body, things like the tumor start to dissolve. There's another piece of technology that we have. I took a technology which its average price was over $15,000 overseas. It's called a multi-wave oscillator. And this is one of the original technologies along with Royal Rife. Nikola Tesla even says use basically the Rife technology with the multi-wave oscillator for the best results. And the multi-wave oscillator, not only does it peak your cells at 70 millivolts, natural, healthy, functioning millivolt of your cell is 70. When we get to a cancer, it means we're a dim light. We have a 35 millivolt a cellular structure. So what a multi-wave oscillator does is it forces the cell to go to 70 millivolts, or it's forcing that cell to quickly die off and generate a new cell. If that happens around the AKA tumor, that tumor is just seeing the last of it's seeing its finale to go bye-bye. Once the cells around the tumor regenerate and they become new, and you're on a protocol or program to regenerate that, it's going to change the outcome drastically. And so, people come here. It's really a product demonstration for 3 hours, but also to learn about this. I'm the best guy to speak with, and we're all working together over here. But multi-wave oscillator is going to be a huge benefactor for what's going inside the brain, and that's a hard place to get to, right? One, it's inside the skull. There's only eyes and the mouth and the ear openings that really, other than the circulatory system, that can get inside the brain. So that's why it's so important to keep a dialogue of everything you're doing. Don't make major changes. A lot of people jump ship when they hear, this can do this, but Baxter, there's another supplement over here, or there's this. And it's like, this is not even a miracle for us to do anymore. So basically, why recreate a wheel? This goes back to not only knowing the different frequencies, we have a cancer protocol that you can use, and it could take up to the 90 days. But in that time frame, you're going to be addressing this. And I believe so much different than most people. Like, I believe cancer really stems from something called candida. It's a fungus that's a matrix-like fungus that's in the fluid of your body, and everyone has it. And when we take antibiotics, what happens is a bad overgrowth of candida. And when they name these diseases, these are man-made boogeymans called disease, like cancer. But cancer, candida. Do you get my point? This stuff's been going on for too long, and I've known about this for a long time. And we actually have ways to get around it. Don't go the long way. I became vegan for 9 years to kill candida. I have quicker and faster methods to do it. One with pine oil. Pine oil is one of the most powerful substances known to man. It's a gift from God, from the biggest plant on the earth. The pine tree is the most successful plant on earth because the pine oil within the stem of the plant is literally powerful against everything out there. So one of the things you can use to reduce candida and this fungus in the body is using a pine oil protocol. So I know that's a long question, and there's parts of it that I probably still need to cover, and maybe we can have another talk outside of here, Azalea. But I'd rather at this point like speak with you directly or contact you directly, and then we can finally fine tune, go over this situation, because there's little things that you could be doing at home, extremely affordable. One is a lot of people, they come in here, and now we tell people you have to have grounding before you come in here, because the explanation that we're talking about with so many hundreds of people, that they have to understand that if you don't have the grounding, you really can't, like I was saying earlier, you don't have the full system for the frequency technology. So it really starts with having that discharging technology, along with that frequency technology, to make it 100% more beneficial to the end user. And I hope that makes sense.
Real quickly, John, I have a question for you, since you're talking about alternative like chemotherapy, because my dad has recently been put on that. So did I hear you say water and baking soda is like an alternative to chemo?
Yeah, I mean, they ousted the guy from Italy who was successful in pretty much every attempt. He was injecting baking soda water in the location of the tumor with just amazing, maybe even 100% results. So
Wow.
so chemo is a word that they use to take over the word chemotherapy with one product, and it's
Mhm.
their product. But really what they mean is chemical therapy. And
Right.
this is alkaline chemical therapy.
So, too, I think everybody, this is that hamster wheel that keeps us on, right? It's just like John was telling when I was talking to him about my dad. He's got that sleep apnea. Apparently, there's a bunch of radiation in that hose. So it's like John says, here they're going to help you with the sleep apnea, the little mask and everything, but realizing how much radiation goes in and out of that hose, John was telling me they are very high, dangerous levels of radiation just in that hose of that sleep apnea mask. So that's good to know, because me, John, I'm all about pushing my dad the alternative route. So, and they want to give my dad this new, more powerful chemo, which is copay, by the way, is $2,400. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just know cancer cannot live in an alkaline body, and that's what John's trying to say here. And of course, my dad brought that up to his doctors, and of course they said that was a myth. And of course they're going to say that, because once everybody knows that, right, then there goes their pocketbooks, right? There goes their money. So it's that hamster wheel, everybody.
Yeah, and always get a second opinion. Like I can tell you, just last week, 3 different people reached out that said they had cancer. They actually, two of them out of the three said that the first thing they told them is that they didn't have cancer. And then another doctor later that day or the next day said that they had cancer. So be very careful out there. This is a money-making business. They can diagnose you even if your test results don't say you have cancer.
Exactly.
It's scary.
That is scary. And, Dr. Carey confirms this. She told me there's a lot of misdiagnosing and overdiagnosing. So yes, I agree with John. Second opinions. And that's why when I found this out with my dad, I wasn't accepting of it. I called John right away and they're going down there. So I'm super stoked about it. But I do know Field McConnell has a question for you, John. Go ahead, Field.
Okay. Awesome.
First of all, I want to compliment John for his courage to go against what I would characterize as the American Medical Association. But I'd like to ask you a specific question, John, if you're ready to take a shot at it.
Sure.
Have you ever had any success restoring liver function?
Well, that's a good question. And myself, I was a jaundice baby. And so I always had a liver issue. So there's simple things that people can do to regenerate a liver. So a liver can, a liver is pretty large, but it can shrink the size of a golf ball, believe it or not. And guess what? It can come back to its full size. This is something that you can even research on your own. There was a study done with taking 1 teaspoon of coconut oil each day, and a liver is coming back to full size after a couple months. So the liver needs the proper ingredients to do its job. And we know of rancid oils. They're giving us rancid oils, cut oils that they said likely are worse than taking motor oil out of your car and putting it in your body. These are the food sources that we're using. And so I can't say that it'd be 100%, but what I can say is that just that alone is miraculous, because then the liver has all the tools to dissolve these toxins. And having enough oil in the body helps the liver do that. And coconut oil is the perfect oil that you should make part of the regimen when you're working with the liver. And of course, going back to one of the first people, all of us need to sweat 3 times a week. We need the body pushing out these toxins through the brain. And that's why we have like far infrared saunas or sweat saunas. They even say that a lot of people can diminish their cancer because all of the nasty stuff hangs out in the lymphatic system. So if you're not moving, if we're sweating less every day, expect these things to come on. And so I would say getting more circulation is a big portion of turning your body back on, getting the body back online. We do have different frequency programs for the liver. That's where our metabolism is pretty much known. If the liver is in good shape, we have a higher metabolism. If the liver is in bad shape, usually our metabolism is a lot less. So what we want to do is really stimulate the liver. And depending on how bad it is, we can have either success or non-success. But the thing is, we do have many different liver protocols. We do have a detoxification platform. And if you want to get crazy, there is a thing called a coffee enema that actually puts coffee on your liver through your large intestine, and that coffee actually stimulates the liver to squeeze. And so this is a very known technology for the last 100 years called a coffee enema. And when you do it, it's the weirdest, crazy thing, and you don't do it just for fun. You're doing it because you want to get better. And because that coffee sits beside that vagus nerve near your liver, it absorbs that caffeine. And when it does that, it makes the liver squeeze out toxins. So you'll feel your liver actually squeeze really tight and then release. And it'll do it like 3 or 4 times. And when it does it, think of a sponge full of crud, right? That's your liver. If you take that sponge and you squeeze it, all that nasty stuff comes out of it. Like literally, a lot of us need gallbladder and liver cleanses because there's man-made stuff stored in there. And it comes to the point where your DNA in that organ is like looking at the next cell saying, it's cloudy, it's smoky in here, and it's full of toxins. So what you want it to be is we need to bring the body back to purity. So that's what you need to think. And one of the things is give your liver some attention. You know, a lot of us are caught in our heads. We live a life. When I broke my neck, I was caught in my head and I had no options and no choices to go to my heart. But the thing about being stuck in our head or in our current daily life is that there is so much stuff going on, and we need to relax and we need to take it easy, and we need to give our body some attention. And basically, when we do have an illness, that's what our body's saying. Just please give me some relaxation and attention, and so I can do what I'm supposed to do, and that's heal myself. And the body, the DNA is literally self-healing. So you get a cut, you didn't think about it. Your body created a scab, and you were being healed from that cut. That's how the body works. Until the body says, I don't want to heal that cut anymore, that's when our physical body's really done for. But if you have a cut and your body heals, your body's still saying it's got a long life to go. And really what we need to do is all the stuff that I was saying, and basically bring back the body to purity and stay away from sugar. Because literally, if they take sugar out of our diet, there would be no more cancer.
Mr. Baxter, thank you very much for your time and your expertise.
Thank you, Phil. It's an honor and pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Field. Okay, Dan, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and ask John your question. How you doing on time, John? I forgot to ask you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. I likely I got another like 10 minutes.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Okay, go ahead, Dan. Your mic is unmuted.
The question I have is with cancer. You said sugars are bad. Is that referring to natural sugars too that you would get in fruit and honey?
No, those are natural. The bees made the honey, and that's gonna be a perfect consistency for the body. Fruits from sugars from fruit are quite fine when limited, but you have to have some type of sugar. It's just the quality of sugar. And today, between high fructose corn syrup and regular cane sugar being heated at 12,000 degrees, this is the secrets that they've used to prop up the medical industry. And even the fake sugars, like one that you could use is, of course, that I think of the name right now. It's very popular, but it's basically a plant-based sugar. Not spirulina, but
Is it like what's it called? Like Aleve or Alive or something like that? Agave, maybe.
well, agave. I would stay away from that, just because it's more man-made process now. Agave, like
Agave. Okay, yeah.
yeah, I would stay away from that. I think it's I'll look it up. Splenda, or I can't think of the name, but honey is good. Sugar from fruits are good. It's really any types of high fructose corn syrups, these types of things where we just gotta remove ourselves from them completely, especially the older we get.
Yeah, well, corn syrup, that's in all the barbecue sauces and all the mayonnaise and mustard or ketchups. It's everywhere.
Yeah, we are literally we're being worked against really hard. They're working us, right? The food system is working with the medical system in a sense. I mean, we call it, you've heard it before, a food forest. You can go into a grocery store, and if you really look and you really look at ingredients, there's no real food at the grocery store other than what's some of the stuff in the produce section.
Where are we supposed to go to find the good food? What's our options?
Well, to get better, a lot of people do fasting. That's why people are like, why don't you eat as much? Like at lunch, sometimes people get a lot of food, and they're like, well, why didn't you eat it? I was like, honestly, my body's telling me that I'm just going to be eating poison anyways, and there's not any nutrition in it. So really,
Yeah,
you know,
that's funny you mentioned that. About 3 months ago, I started fasting every Monday. I call Monday fasting day. So Sunday night, I don't eat anything until Tuesday midday. I drink water, and that's it. So I do fast at least once a week, 1 day a week.
that's going to extend your life more than anything. I'm a big believer in it. And this has been known for many thousands of years that, if you want to bring your body back to purity, bring your body to autophagy. Autophagy means it's kind of using itself, and it's kind of repositioning the different building blocks in the arrangement that is natural. The
Well,
building block, yeah, the building blocks that we're using now are all man-made building blocks, right? These are fake ingredients, and our body's being rebuilt over 7 years on fake ingredients.
no, that makes a lot of sense. And that Jesus even said, "When you fast," and that was thousands of years ago. When Jesus said, "When you fast," it's not like saying you should fast. He said, "When you fast." So it's expected so that for us to fast.
It's the simplest thing, and it forces the body to correct, with what it has. It's doing the best with what it can every day, anyways. But when you remove all this man-made stuff and you do like a water fast, you know, you're putting in these clean waters through a body that has just, whether you have a lot of toxins or little toxins, you're depleting the body of these man-made stuff. It's just interfering. So, what
Well,
I
that
could say, what to eat, this is something I don't really cover a lot. The difference between I was a vegan, I'm not a vegan anymore, but I don't think it's a bad diet. And I think for certain circumstances like cancer, being a vegan could be a good thing. It's a detox, right? A detox from the current patterns of behavior. But also, I'm a carnivore as well. There's nothing better for a lot of us to have is protein. If you don't want to get older and you want to age gracefully, add muscle mass to your body. That's the number one thing that if you lose muscle mass, you age.
well, my older brother, he's been on a carnivore diet for about 6 months, and he swears by it, and he keeps really talking me into trying to do a carnivore diet. And I love my vegetables. I have cut back on the carbs, and of course the sugars. But I have heard some bad things about just eating meat, bad for your body, but
It
he
brings
swears by it.
yeah. There's a side of just eating meat that makes your body more acidic, right? Parasites like meat too, so that's why it's really the diet side of things is something I know very well. But as a kind of a electrical energy frequency guy, it all works together. So I actually fasted for 21 days before I went viral. So I knew I had something great over 10 years ago. And, I prayed and I prayed, and I never would give up on what I was told to do. And I actually, when I was praying, I told God that I was going to fast until this was a revolution. After the 21 days that fasting, I felt so amazing. I really didn't need to eat as much as I thought I did. But our company went worldwide viral after fasting and, putting those intentions and praying. So you never
Wow.
know.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much.
Sounds good to me. Okay, everybody, if you didn't get your questions asked today, come on back in 2 weeks. John's got a busy schedule, but he'll be back here. He's going to be a recurring guest, as you heard. So, John, thank you so much for, an amazing chat and your wealth of knowledge. And I think you're going to bring a lot of excitement and encouragement to a lot of people. So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you guys so much. It was an honor to be here, and I love our country. I love our fellow patriots. What he said earlier was like, I'm not really against the AMA. I'm just here for truth and healing. I can care less what those people do, but we know that our own country and our people are struggling. So that was my gift, and so that's what I'm sharing. So we got to stick together and make this country a lot better in so many different ways. And if I'm speaking truth and you hear some little crumbs of wisdom, put it in a application, apply it. And anything that we could do, we are of service. So anything that we could do to help your friends, your family, your cousins, your aunts, your neighbors, we'd be happy to. That's why if you guys had any questions, you could reach out to Jenny probably directly or a website, and be happy to help you as best as I can.
Thank you, John. And everybody, his website is on the wall. And again, he'll be back here in 2 weeks. And thank you, John. God bless everybody.